Don't sleep on the Carolina Panthers. Like, we all know this, but there's room and reason for excitement. And I think some of the things that we're starting to hear out of minicamp are starting to trickle down the takeaways. And it's kind of exactly what you want it to be for the Carolina Panthers. Now, if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. This isn't our first channel. Behind me, you see that Sports Talk. Oh, this side, right? You see that Sports Talk Detroit. We've had that channel for almost 2 years now. And we just have some love for the little guy. And what I mean by that in the NFL is those teams that aren't in those major media markets. So small media market teams. And the Panthers are absolutely one of those. Love what they're doing this offseason. If you want more Panthers content, hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you here. But why can't you sleep on the Carolina Panthers? I think there's the obvious reasons, and we're going to start with the obvious one. We will start with the obvious one, but at this time, we're not able to get eyes on anyone. So all we can do is hear like different news, different rumblings, kind of what we're hearing from training camp. Well, not training camp, mini camp at this point. And then we try and put it together and see if we can find a common theme. And there's a couple of things that were a common theme and what we are hearing about. And one of them is the obvious. It is Bryce Young and earning the respect of his older teammates. A lot of times rookie quarterbacks come in and you hear mixed reviews, or, you don't have a lot of praise on them. Maybe the coach is talking good about them, but nobody else is really talking about them. That's a clear warning sign. That's not happening with Bryce Young. Brian Burns, one of the leaders on the defensive side, and I always love listening to defenders talk about their quarterback. I always love listening to people on the opposite side of the ball talk about players from the opposite side of the ball, because they get a better picture. They get a better feel for what's going on. Yes, it's one thing to be like, yep, I can count on him. He's my guy, and offensive guys talking about each other. It's another one when a defender's like, oh yeah, this dude's got it, and he's already causing problems for him. So here's what Brian Burns had to say about Young. He said, it's hard not to like that kid. He put quite a stamp on the locker room in 2 weeks. That's amazing. He said he walks around with this kind of humble, excuse my language. He's like humble, but I know I'm the S type of swag. That's exactly how it reads. We don't swear on this channel. So he's got it, but he's humble with it. So here's what I love about this. Bryce Young knows that he's a rookie. He knows that he can play, but he also has humility. I love that about him. It's a rare quality to find. You need to, in order to be an athlete that is going to be a stud at the highest level, you have to have a level of cockiness about you. You have to have a level of swag. But when you can combine humility with that, and also, like, I think about quarterbacks who have been able to combine, have that humble type of swag with them, really, really good things happen. Young said of hearing about this, he said, being embraced by the locker room, that means a lot to me. He said, there's a lot of guys here that had a lot of success and played a lot of snaps of NFL football. And them welcoming me, who's never played a snap before, who's trying to prove himself and trying to do everything he can to help this team, is important. That's humble. And that's exactly what Burns are talking about, or what Brian Burns is talking about. That's humility. He's saying, it's great that they're saying everything. He's hearing it. Don't get me wrong. He's hearing it. He knows, but he's not going to sit here and say, I'm the best. They better like me. No, and nobody would say that. But when you have your other best players on the team praising him, that means a big deal. They're not going to go out and praise something if they don't believe in it. That's not what they're going to do. That's not what NFL players, they're trained to have each other's backs. And that's a team mentality, but they're not trained to lie in good ways about each other. That's not good. That doesn't help anyone. And this is now, Frank Reich has done this. Burns has done this, the leader on the defensive end. There are some of the best players on this teams that are coming out and they're saying, hey, Bryce Young, he's that dude. And so that is good news for the Panthers, but we got to get to other things. We've got to get to other things. And there are two other young offensive skill guys. I got two more things for you to be excited, that are not named Bryce Young, that are absolutely getting noticed. And Frank Wright went out to begrudgingly, this is kind of funny how he is, mentioned two guys. That was rookie wide receiver Jonathan Mingo and second-year running back Raheem Blackshear. Now, it was very, very clear, and Bryce Young and Mingo have been putting in a lot of extra time in this camp. That's what we're hearing, and their chemistry has been evident during the couple practice that were open to the media. If Mingo was a guy that if you were listening to Sports Talk Detroit, I did a video on like, we need to draft this guy. And at the time he was being projected as like a 4th, 5th round pick. That's not what he ended up being. Because everything I saw in him was almost like Spartan brand DK Metcalf. Like he has that same size. He's got speed. He doesn't have it quite the same as Metcalf does. He also had the concentration drop problems, but he would make amazing catches. I think his hands are actually better than DK Metcalf. So it's very interesting when you look at this. If they're putting in the work and they can develop a chemistry from the get, like that could be a scary combination for them. Blackshear, they were saying, showed off good burst in the return game as a rookie, but he also had good hands and can catch the ball in the backfield, which similar to Mingo should benefit a rookie quarterback. Yes, it should. It should. And so what you know, and we always have said this for rookie quarterbacks, their best friend, the old saying used to be a good tight end is a rookie's best friend. And I remember even in fantasy football, like, ooh, he's got a rookie quarterback, draft the tight end because like the rookie's going to be going to the tight end. Well, in the new NFL, that's partially true still. But a good running back, a good pass catching running back. And if Blackshear is showing good burst and also good hands to catch the ball out of the backfield, that's a big deal. That's really helpful for Bryce Young. So keep an eye on that and what that's going to look like. And now let's move to the defensive side of the ball. It's been a rough few weeks because JC Horn hurt his ankle. CJ Henderson was missing time for personal reasons. Dante Jackson, who was an observer, like it's just like, man, because he's rehabbing that Achilles. And so it's like, man, oh man, who is going to play in the backfield? And one guy, and who, but it's also an opportunity to show out. And one guy is 5th round pick, Jimmy Robinson. All right. He was a South Carolina guy. He was then Florida State. He's not big. He's 5'11", 195, and he does not have ideal safety size. He doesn't. That's okay. But he plays with attitude and can also line up in the slot when the Panthers are in nickel. All right. This is interesting. Dante Jackson said this about Robinson. He said, Jimmy's a pit bull. He's one of my favorite players in the DB room, one of my favorite guys to talk to. This is a rookie. Jackson said, he's just football. That type stuff you just can't teach. He can be a difference maker early, like a Tyrann Mathieu hybrid. Are you kidding me? With the amount of balls he's able to consume and the amount of positions he's able to play. He can be a good player in the secondary for a long time. This is how teams get better faster. They draft well in the late rounds. We've seen it. Could he be a guy, Jimmy Robinson, that is starting or at least getting a lot of run in the rotation for the Panthers secondary this year? Could he be the answer at the slot / kind of a hybrid type role, that Tyrann Mathieu type role? That would be awesome. All right. Hope you liked the video. Please consider subscribing. Leave a comment. We love comments. And you know what? We'll see you on the next one.